Well, hello. My name is Kaylana if this is your very first time here. However, family and friends call me Lonnie, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Girl, today we're going to be talking about how the Lord blessed me with a car with a repossession of my credit as well as terrible credit. Like a low fives, probably a four, if I could be completely honest. Let's get into it. Before we get into the video, I want to give you some insight to how we got here. So if you watched my last video, you know that the car I manifested, I end up totaling, which caused me to need another vehicle. So my dad ended up referring me to this buy here, play here place because my credit was garbage. And on top of that, my dad is hood, child. He gonna try to go where it's low. So long story short, he knew the guy or whatever because I had got my last car from the guy, and they ended up putting me in this 2013 Nissan Maxima. Don't recommend. When I tell you that car is a gas guzzler, anyways, not important. So long story short, they ended up selling me a lemon, and the head gasket ended up getting blown, and I gave the car back because I'm like, y'all sold me a lemon. Y'all knew that something was wrong with this car before y'all sold it to me, so I'm giving the car back. So after that, I end up not having a vehicle. And child, I like to move when I like to move. I like to go when I like to go. I'm a homebody now, but back then, baby, I was on the road. I wanted to go pull up on my man when I wanted to go see my man. Let's talk about it. I already know I don't have a car at this point. But the great thing about it is during this season of my life, me and the Lord was getting really close. So the first thing I did when I woke up was crack open my Bible. I would just write prayers down in my journal. I would be in worship, all the things, right? And I remember thinking to myself, like, I'm gonna go apply for a loan at my bank. I forgot to add this in the last slide, but when I was writing prayers in my journal, I was writing the type of car that I wanted. So I wrote that I wanted an all black Kia Optima. I wanted my radio to be touchscreen, and I was just very specific on how I wanted my car to look. And I'm gonna try to go find that journal so I can show y'all. But anyways, so I went to the bank, and the guy was like, oh, I see that you're here trying to apply for a loan. So I'm like, yes. So I guess they ran my credit, saw it was trash. So he was like, unfortunately, we can't give you no $20,000 loan, but we can give you $500. So I was discouraged. I'm like, what am I gonna do with $500? Like, I'm a server. I can make that this week. Like, I need $20,000. I didn't tell him that, but I'm thinking that in my head. And lo and behold, he was like, well, would you like to apply for a auto loan? And I'm like, sure, why not? It's not gonna hurt. So I applied for the auto loan. I left because I really thought I was gonna leave with $20,000. Delusional, right? And I was still just holding on to my faith, like, oh, the Lord is gonna bless me with a car. The Lord gonna bless me with a car. And y'all, the Lord gave me a dream. The Lord gave me a dream that this lady had gave me a car. So I knew that the Lord had confirmed to me that he was going to give me a car. I just didn't know when. And I remember telling my husband, he wasn't my husband at the time, but I remember telling him the dream, like, she had a dream that this lady gave me a car, this and that. So he's like, okay. People be thinking you crazy until stuff comes to life, come to pass. So long story short, y'all, I would say maybe a month, maybe 2 months, maybe even 3 months. I'm not really sure the time frame, but it was within that time. And I got a call. Now, mind you, I was still diligent in my word. I was still, worshiping. I was still doing what I was doing in the meantime. The man called. He was like, hi, may I speak to Miss Jones? I was like, this is she. And he was like, this is so-and-so calling from Suncoast Credit Union. It seems as if your file had got misplaced in a whole nother department, but you are approved for your loan. Y'all, I was so happy. I knew then that the Lord had allowed that to happen to see if I would just hold on to my faith. So long story short, he was like, you're approved for 16.5, which is 16,500. So although it wasn't 20, I was still grateful. I'm like, okay, whatever, anything, I'm on my way. So long story short, my Nana took me up there to go pick it up. And this where it got challenging, y'all. Y'all remember in the Bible when the Lord told Israel to walk around the walls of Jericho and 7 times and then a wall gonna come crumbling down? That's how this felt. So I was going to car lots after car lots, and although I had prayed to God for a specific car, at this point I did not care. I just wanted a vehicle. So everywhere I went, people kept turning me down. Oh no, like you have to have more, this and the third. So I'm just like, whatever. And I remember going to this car lot specifically in Brandon, and it was all black Kia. They wanted like 21,000. I was gonna see if I could negotiate. So I ended up driving the car and everything. And they were like, afterwards, they were like, oh, we don't negotiate. Y'all, I was boohoo crying because it's like, this is the car I prayed for. Like, this is the car I want. But my husband was like, it's okay, it's okay. Now, prior to even going there, we had went to this little buy here, pay here plot space. And I test drove this like Chrysler or something like that. I hated how it looked. But I was just like, if it all fails, I'm gonna just come back and get this car. Although I know I did not want this car. So my husband was like, well, you promised the guy that if you didn't get this car, that you was gonna come back and get the other car. I'm like, I know that I promised him that, but I really don't want that car, Christian. I really don't want that car. So he's like, well, you promised him that, da, da, da. So we kind of low-key like got into it. But I'm just like, whatever, like, it's my money. Like, I'm not going to get it. So I would say the next day, me and my husband, he wasn't my husband at the time, but we was driving on down Nebraska, and on the right hand side there was a BMW dealership. Now mind y'all, I was already discouraged. If all these other little buy here pay here places was telling me that I didn't have enough money, I know if I go on the BMW lot, I'm definitely not gonna have enough money. These cars is 100,000 and up. So long story short, my husband was like, there's a white Kia right there. Let's go see. And I was so nervous. I'm like, ugh. So we get out, whatever. We're young, we're black, and you know how they be. They don't be liking to come and help you because they don't think you're trying to spend no money. So long story short, it's this one guy came out to help us, and he was like, are you interested in that car? And I'm like, yes. He was like, would you like to test drive it? I'm like, no, I don't want to test drive it. I want it. So he was like, okay, that car is $22,000. And he was like, let's go in and do some numbers. So I'm like, okay. So I was like, I don't have $22,000. So he was like, what you have? And I'm like, I have 16.5. And he was just like, now mind you, I had this little folder that the bank had gave me, and they told me not to let like dealerships look into it. I'm not sure why. But he was like, can I see the folder? So I was hesitant at first. I'm like, thinking in my head, I'm not finna let you see my folder if you're not finna send me the card. So I'm just like, I gave him the folder. So he's looking at it or whatever. So he was like, let me go talk to my manager. So him and his man, he just kept going back and forth. So he was like, could you put $500 down on it in cash? And I'm like, sir, I don't have a penny. Like, this is all I got. So he came back. He was like, could you put $300 down on it? I'm like, sir, I don't have nothing. Like, this is what I got. I don't have a penny. So then I started looking at my husband like, just give him some money, please, so we can get this car. So my husband like, got it. So I'm like, all right. So he kept coming back. Could you put like $100 down on it? I'm like, we don't have anything, sir. Like, this is what we got. So he was like, all right, I'll be back. So he kept doing that. So while he was doing that, I went outside and I went to my husband's car and I just started praying in tongues. And I was just thanking the Lord in advance. And my prayer was this. I said, Lord, I done came on this lot by faith. Please don't let me leave off this lot humiliated. I said, Lord, I'm your child. Do not let these people laugh at me. I done came on this lot with $16,000. Although these cars are 100,000 and more, Lord, please show yourself in this situation. So after that, I'm speaking in tongues, crying, doing all the things, worshiping. I go inside, I go to the bathroom. So I'm speaking in tongues some more and I'm worshiping and I'm just thanking the Lord for the car. I come back. The Lord shake my, I'm not the Lord. The guy, he shook my hand. He was like, so y'all, I was so freaking happy because it's like, first off, they didn't even deal with my bank because they said that they take too long to pay them their money. So that was one thing. They took an offer. They was down, I'm not good with math, so 17, 18, and 21. So like $6,000, they took that off. Not only that, y'all, they filled up the tank, and ultimately they just sold me the car. And I was just so grateful. I was thanking the Lord. But you already know when the Lord does something, Satan try to show up. And Satan, I couldn't take the car home because I had to have insurance on the car. It was Friday. It was about to close. It wasn't going to be open. So they were like, you have to come back on Monday to get the car. So as y'all know, here goes Satan. Oh, you still ain't get the car. Like, don't get too happy. The car is not yours yet. Like, basically just tormenting me, making me feel like the people was going to pull back on the offer, although they had already said yes. And I remember I was in worship. Y'all, the Lord is so good. And I love him so much. I remember I was in worship and I heard the Lord say, can't nobody undo what I have done. Clear them, clear them, clear them, clear them, clear them. And when the Lord spoke that into my heart, I was good. And I was, every time Satan tried to say something to me, I'd be like, the Lord said, can't nobody undo what he has done. He gave me the car. The car is mine. Shut up. Y'all. And sure enough, what the Lord said is what happened. I went, I put insurance on my car, and I picked my car up. And that is how the Lord blessed me with a 2017 Kia Optimum with less than 100,000 miles, because that was something else that I prayed for. It had like 57,000 miles on it. And let's just say I still got my car right now to this day. Actually, it was 54,000 miles. But all great things come to an end. I had a really great time vlogging this video for y'all. Thank you so much for taking the time out to watch my video, Little Old Me. Your time is your most precious value. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.